Well, across Europe, leaders are calling Russia the greatest and most urgent threat facing the continent. Germany's intelligence chief warned recently that Putin would not hesitate to attack a NATO member. The alliance is scrambling to prepare for a direct military confrontation with Moscow. George Thomas reports.
Dr. Simon Anglim, a leading British military expert and professor at the Department of War Studies at King's College in London, worries that his country's armed forces are not ready for a war with Russia.
What keeps me awake at night is the possibility of direct attacks on the United Kingdom, possibly by missiles or long-range bombers.
A February report by Parliament found Britain running low on its stockpile of weapons, munitions, tanks, and other fighting equipment. Plus, the military is losing personnel faster than they can recruit them. It comes amid warnings that NATO countries may have just 3 years to prepare for all-out war with Russia.
We have virtually no defence against missile attack. We have limited numbers of fighters to defend ourselves from bombers. This will need to be rectified if we're going to continue to take the stance that we do against Russia.
Since Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine,
we are combat ready. We can deter, and if deterrence fails, we are ready to fight.
NATO militaries have been getting ready to fight.
All stations, focus a little bit.
In January, the alliance launched Steadfast Defender 24, its largest military exercise since the Cold War.
The first part of Steadfast Defender 2024 is about getting things across the Atlantic, and then the second part is about trying to get stuff, once it's arrived, over to the central and eastern states.
More than 90,000 troops from all 32 NATO allies are taking part in the exercise. 50 naval assets will move across Europe. More than 80 air platforms and 1,000+ combat vehicles are also being deployed.
This is undertaken near the Russian border, let's call it, near the frontier line, to show the East, show Moscow that NATO means business.
Of the 90,000 troops taking part in NATO's steadfast defense, the British government here has deployed some 20,000 soldiers from the Royal Navy, British Army, and Royal Air Force. The exercise will take place primarily along NATO's eastern flank, with particular focus on countries like Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania.
I think of all the NATO states, they are the ones who are the most aware of the potential threat that they face, and they have been for 30 years.
The exercise will test the alliance on its speed in moving massive numbers of troops and equipment across the lines to defend that eastern flank. Finland, which shares an 830-mile border with Russia, joined NATO in April 2023. Sweden became the 32nd member of the alliance this week. Both countries have troops deployed in the exercise. Last week, Swedish and Finnish Marines conducted amphibious operations from a U.S. Navy warship high above the Arctic Circle, honing their readiness skills.
This needs a lot of coordination so that we can work together, operate together in this complex environment.
Steadfast Defender is expected to last through May, aimed at showing that the alliance can defend all of its territory up to its borders with Russia. George Thomas, CBN News, London.
I hope Russia wakes up. I hope they wake up to what they're doing and how they're putting the entire world at peril. This should not be. They should have never invaded Ukraine. It was made up that somehow or other Ukraine was turning into a Nazi state. And that propaganda went throughout their culture. This should not happen, and we need to stand strong against it and be resolved. I'm very disturbed at the current climate where people are actively talking about withdrawing aid from Ukraine. If you do and Ukraine falls, then NATO's next, and we can't do that. It should not happen. This should not be. We need to stand firm and stand with resolve. No more. This war is improper. It's illegal. Our defense of Ukraine is just, and we need to stay with Ukraine.